The picture that shows how desperate refugees are to enter the EU. A picture of an African man trying to smuggle himself into Spain by squeezing himself behind a car engine shows the desperate lengths migrants are taking to flee persecution, civil war and poverty. The man was discovered by Spanish border police in a bad state of health due to searing temperatures and petrol fumes from cramming himself behind the car's engine block and radiator. Unbelievable. The migrant situation is, let's be honest, getting out of control. But I can't imagine what these poor people are going through. How many people have died trying to better their lives in Europe? But why are these people leaving their countries? At some point, someone in the British media has to connect the dots and tell the public the obvious. That because of David Cameron, together with NATO and especially America, because they bombed Libya and because they supported ISIS in Syria as they wanted to oust Assad and they wanted ISIS to do it for them, because they've done this, they have devastated the countries where these people have come from. And as a direct result of this, we have the current migrant crisis. People want to get out of the way of the UK's, America's and NATO's bombing. And let's be honest, who can blame them? And remember, this October, Cameron wants another vote on bombing Syria. So what's going to happen to the migrant crisis then? It's only going to get a whole lot worse. Remember that Cameron spent £350 million bombing Libya back to the Stone Age, and he spent only £13 million to help rebuild the country.
UK government spending has come under the spotlight. It's emerged that Westminster seems more willing to spend money on bombing rather than rebuilding. Now, it's been revealed the UK spent £320 million on its military campaign in Libya, while it allocated £25 million on rebuilding the war-torn country. That is 13 times less.
When you think that the Millennium Dome cost over £750 million to build, £13 million won't go far when it comes to rebuilding a country, will it? Our politicians simply need to grow up and accept responsibility for their actions. It's cause and effect, yin and yang. The issue I have is that we're a small island and we can't take everyone. We only have so many schools, so many hospitals, etc. The way I see it, there are three options. 1. We stop funding ISIS so they collapse and are easily defeated with no new weapons sent to them from America and no new funds sent to them by Saudi Arabia, allowing the countries they're currently in to become safer. 2. We invest in the countries that these people are coming from to make them more secure and to make them feel safer in their homeland. Safer so that they don't take the chance of going on a dodgy boat across the water to get to Europe for a better life. 3. We let them all in. But if we do that, there needs to be a major, massive, humongous infrastructure spending to build more homes, more schools, more hospitals. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the Tories simply will not do this. Cut, cut, cut. The crisis now will seem like a walk in the park if Cameron bombs Syria. Our leaders are pathetic. Cameron has gone missing during this migrant crisis. Here's a perfect example of why people are escaping the countries they are to try to get to Europe. War with ISIS. US launches secret drone campaign against senior militants in Syria. The CIA and US Special Operations Forces have launched a secret campaign to hunt terrorism suspects in Syria as part of a targeted killing program that is run separately from the broader US military offensive against ISIS, US officials have said. Just imagine how Syria will look when our government votes to kill more people in Syria. Something has to give. We've got to stop this madness. EU may break border controls, Angela Merkel suggests. The European Union could be forced to bring back border controls in the wake of the migrant crisis, Angela Merkel said last night. The German Chancellor said for the first time that the Schengen zone, which allows passport-free travel across mainland Europe, cannot continue in its current form unless other EU countries accept their share of migrants. Mrs. Merkel said that while she did not want freedom of movement rules to be tightened, the issue would arise if responsibility for accepting migrants was not shared. You see, Merkel and Germany are the real powerhouse behind the EU. Germany and, of course, the unelected bureaucrats of the EU Commission. How many times has Britain suggested EU border controls and we have simply been ignored? Proof again that Germany has now succeeded where Hitler failed. But the bottom line is this. We need to stop bombing these people's countries, and we need to stop funding and arming the likes of ISIS and stop them in their tracks by not giving them new weapons. We also need to invest in the countries that the West have destroyed with bombs over the years. And unless we do this, the immigration crisis will continue and get a hell of a lot worse.